Hello everyone. Welcome back. Texas Little Apple is here. Our math class starts right now. Look at this equation. We have one equation, but two unknown variables, m and n. We need to find the value of n to the power of m from this nasty-looking equation. Most people get stuck here because they don't know where to start. Algebra says this should be impossible to solve. But, because of one specific word in the problem statement, there is actually a unique solution. Today, I'm going to show you two different ways to find the solution. One is the standard textbook method, using the discriminant, and then a much faster way, sum of squares, which solves it in seconds. One is messy, one is beautiful. Brute force algebra. Or an elegant trick? Which one is better? Let's dive in it and see which one you prefer. First, let's explore the standard textbook approach using the discriminant constraint. We begin by regrouping the terms, so the equation can be rewritten as a standard quadratic in the variable m. Since the problem specifies that m is a real number, the discriminant of the quadratic must be greater than or equal to 0. If the discriminant were negative, the given equation would have complex solutions for the number m. Next, expand and simplify the inequality. Then divide the entire inequality by -3. Remember, dividing by a negative number reverses the direction of the inequality sign. Now factor the perfect square trinomial. This gives the inequality. The square of the number n minus 2 is equal or less than 0. Now we determine the value of n. In the real number system, the square of any number is always non-negative. Therefore, the square of n minus 2 cannot be less than 0. The only way the inequality, the square of n minus 2 is equal or less than 0, can hold true is if it is exactly equal to 0. So the number n must be equal to 2. Next, substitute m equals 2 back into the original equation to find the value of m. Group the constant terms and complete the square in the final step. This yields the square of m plus 1 is equal to 0. Thus the value of the number m is determined to be equal to -1. Now that we have n equals 2 and m equals -1, we can calculate the value of the number n to the power of the number m. The result is 1/2 or 0.5. Let's now summarize method 1, the discriminant approach. The idea: rewrite the equation as a quadratic in one variable, for example, m, while treating the other, for example, n, as a constant. The real solution test. A real solution requires the discriminant must be greater than or equal 0. The key insight: solving this inequality often produces a perfect square, forcing it to equal 0 and revealing the needed constraint. For example, the square of n minus 2 equals 0. The pros: reliable, systematic, and works even when a clever factorization isn't obvious. The cons: expanding discriminant can get messy and prone to arithmetic mistakes. Best for when no pattern jumps out. This is the dependable, safety net method. So how about the second method, completing the square? Analyzing the equation, we see that to rewrite it as a sum of non-negative terms, squares, equal to 0, the main obstacle is the mixed term, m times n. To isolate m and n into separate squares, it's often helpful to multiply the entire equation by 2 or 4 to eliminate fractions. Here, we'll multiply the equation by 4. To group terms and form a perfect square involving m, let's examine the equation closely. We split the term 4n square into one single n square plus 3n squares. Then, factor the first group. This allows us to complete the square with respect to m. To factor the remaining terms, examine what's left. We can factor out a 3, which reveals another perfect square, the square of n minus 2. Thus, the equation becomes a sum of two perfect squares. Next, apply the real domain constraint. Since we are working over the real numbers, each square must be non-negative. The only way their sum can equal 0 is if both terms are individually 0. We can now solve for the numbers n and m. First, set the second term equal to 0, which gives n equals 2. Next, set the first term equal to 0 and substitute n equals 2. This yields the value of the number m is equal to -1. Finally, substitute the values of n and m into the exponential expression. We find that the value of n to m is equal to 1/2 or 0.5. Both the discriminant method and the completing the square method yield the same result. Let's now summarize method 2, completing the square. The idea: rewrite the equation into a sum of perfect squares, such as a square plus b square equals 0. The real solution rule: since squares of real numbers are always non-negative, each squared term must equal 0. The key insight: if the total sum of squares is 0, every square vanishes, instantly giving a simple system of equations. The pros: elegant and fast. When you spot the right grouping, often by doubling or factoring constants, this method solves the problem with minimal work. The cons: requires pattern recognition. If the structure doesn't pop out, progress can stall. Best for when you see mixed terms, like mn, and want the cleanest, most beautiful algebraic route. In summary, Method 1 has 4 key steps. Treat as quadratic in m. Set discriminant greater than or equal 0. Solve inequality. Determine n, then solve for m. Key insights: constraints variables using real root condition. Leads to a single unique solution for n. Algebraic manipulation of inequalities. Method 2 has also 4 key steps. Multiply by factor 4. Group into perfect squares. Set each square to 0. Determine n equals 2, then solve for m. Key insights: transforms equation into sum of non-equals negative terms. Relies on property that squares must be 0. Requires factoring and term splitting. Alright, it's time to wrap up. What did you think of this problem, the solutions, and key insights? Can anyone construct a similar equation where the solution results in integers for both m and n? I'll hear the best examples. Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fun math problems. See you next time, and thank you for watching.